Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we're back on a second account, and there's probably a few things you probably noticed right from the get-go. One of them being the gold division armor, which I decided to do is do some clan hopping, and I managed to do find a clan that's currently in the crystal division. The second one being the flame horse. I did decide to do is complete the pixel poly event when it was still around. And third being the avatar, which I decided to do is sort of progress a little bit further off screen, and I did manage to do is hit level 40. Also, the one thing I forgot to mention with this season, it somewhat improves the game just slightly. Let me explain. Ideally, when it comes to this season, it has to do with the two collector chests I decided to do is introduce, one of them being for melees and the other one being for primaries. Now, what makes them useful for them to be available in pixel passes is that if you were to do is head over to the armory, you're about to see the vast variety of weapons you could possibly get throughout those two collector chests. However, some of these weapons can be exchangeable from the gallery, such as, for example, with the pixel stream sword or the disconnector. Or you're about to say with the Sword of Shadows, as I did decide to use grab, as I still have the urge for the Jet Analyzer, but it's gonna take a while to get there, so I might as well have an alternative for the time being. Same goes for primaries, as there's some weapons you better get that are, I would say, a lot more useful, such as the Firefighter or the Heavy Shotgun, or even the Evil Snowman. The one thing to note is that only older weapons are exchangeable from the gallery, so much more of the modern, or I guess the recent weapons, aren't necessarily exchangeable, such for example the Shell Bubbler or the PGA 6572 sword. Same goes for melee such as the holographic Hook and Saber as well as the Unfriendly Bat. Though the one thing I am hoping for is for the developers were to do is keep it this way, you know, keep the season pass this way and sort of do is like cycle between the rest of the other categories for those collector chests. So we might as well see a backup or a special collector chest, as they do contain a little bit more better weapons you better get, apart from what we have in the gallery. Because I might as well keep up the first game being on Silent School. So as a reminder to be a fresh lobby, there's one topic I want to talk about throughout this match. It's essentially just revolving around Pixgun 2, and I guess the one thing that I'm sort of curious on is how it's gonna sort of perform once it releases. Now, obviously, as of recently, had a bit more information regarding Pixgun 2, such as, for example, one thing that a lot of people have been requesting on is a gameplay trailer, like any form of gameplay, and they decided to announce. And then they decided to announce that there would actually be some gameplay during GDC, so at least there's something to be looking forward to. But then the one thing I'm sort of curious on is how is the game going to sort of perform once it releases globally. Well, that's the one thing that I'm sort of curious on in terms of what's like the base content that Pixgun 2 is going to have on day one. I guess the one thing developers would like to see is sort of the game having some form of success. Well, despite currently with Pixgun 2's reception being practically, I would say, down the gutter ever since with like the announcement as well as ever since the announcement, since a lot of people have been saying, is there even a point for the game to be having a sequel? As we sort of did talk about, I guess the reason for it is going to be more different compared to Pixgun 3D. Like, we'll be able to see a lot more advanced movement. Sort of like an advanced movement and such, and there's obviously a lot of other things as well, like, such as, would it be some sort of like gunsmith system? I think the one thing that a lot of players have been sort of a lot more cautiously curious on is how is the monetization gonna go? Is it gonna be somewhat more different than Pixgun 3D, or will it practically follow the same way as what Pixgun 3D currently had? The one thing I already say is that it all depends on how it's gonna go at GDC, as that's the only way that we're about to do is get some more information or questions that we currently have be answered. Might as well queue up some classic pool, and that does seem to be a decently fresh lobby. Got the power users out here. Is anything? Guess I can try to get something out of it. Bit of a chaotic match. Yeah, this feels a lot more familiar to the Jet Analyzer, but without the area damage. Finding the berry bell to be a lot more useful now. Bit of a nice change to the Phoenix Blood. But it kills him? Yes, it does. Last ditch effort, I guess, but when this didn't work well, but it doesn't really matter. One more limb for the road, we got the win. Alright, what does there say? One thing I would say is this match was very chaotic, I would say. Full lobby as well. Probably the last match being on Sky Islands. Bit of a decent ongoing match. Some other opponent coming out to go for the 11. Yeah, might as well keep the berry bell for now. Oh, I have some sort of survivability here. I also have to counter the E-Shock. If you ever go against a snowstorm user, make sure to bring an RPG and get as close as you can. Not much, but at least it did something. And there we go. But yeah, I guess that's gonna do for the matches. And I guess that's gonna do for this video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good day, night, whenever you're watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.